Learn about a special angel's battle against cancer and what her family is now doing to help others. Coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Fox 43 studio. We're focused on the Shelley Glassbell Sheelard's Ewing Sarcoma Fund, and we're visiting with Hilda Merritt Carter, a columnist with Alternatives and Coast News magazines, and a big supporter of the Ewing Sarcoma Fund. Good morning, Hilda.
Good morning, Greg.
Thanks so much for being with us this morning. Incredible opportunity all week to highlight the Ewing Sarcoma Fund, to think of so much going on. Obviously, big focus is this Friday's golf tournament.
Right.
To think about the Beach Boogie concert, October 10th, up in Charlotte, the walk in November, the fashion show next April. Lots going on to help raise attention and awareness for the Ewing Sarcoma Fund.
Yes, because, you know, that is one of the types of cancer that has not been funded like the breast cancer or so other cancers. And most people don't realize that this starts in babies. And that's what really got me, was the fact that young children, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, could absolutely have this and lose their limbs or their life. So Chuck Doby got me in to this. He called me one day and he said, I want you to talk to a lady, and her daughter has died with bone cancer. And he said, I'm going to give you the number. And I called Sandy, and we just became great friends. This is really a strong woman. I mean, she has put all this together with help of her friends and family, and this is something she's doing for her daughter, but yet she's doing it for other people. And that's what's so great about it, is because she wants other people to have help that Shelley didn't have.
You know, Sandy Glassbell, Shelley's mother, and Chuck were on Monday talking. Of course, Chuck went after Sandy. It was fascinating hearing him talk about all the efforts that Sandy and her husband had gone through to have the funds to send their daughter through college, all the efforts that go into being a parent, and then to lose a child is such a big deal when you think about the impact that death has on the person, but the impact it has on families and so many loved ones around them, children. Shelley, of course, with 2 sons, the impact is dramatic, and that's part of the reason why we're so thankful when you contacted me about, and Loretta, about doing a whole week focused on the Ewing Sarcoma Fund, and so much that goes into fighting this on a family side. It's a big deal. Hilda, real quick though, for viewers who may not have seen you on Carolina People in the past, or have seen you when you were on WECT or all the columns you've been active with, how long have you been writing your column for Alternatives and Coast News magazines?
About 10 years.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I put up with Bill for 10 years.
Bill Darby, that is.
Yeah, but I really respect Bill because I think he's one of the best news editors that there is. And of course, I don't like to tell him that too often because he gets a big head.
Oh yeah. That he could. If someone were to ask you about your careers, Hilda, how many have you had, and which do you think you've enjoyed the most?
You know, it's really funny. I've thought back over the years, you know, of all the things that I have done. I was in beauty pageants. I directed them for years, and I've been in PR with the Myrtle Beach Chamber of Commerce under Fred Brinkman, and just so many wonderful things that I've done. But I really think that deep down, my writing, I started it in high school, and of course I worked with the Star in Wilmington,
sure.
And was very fortunate to work with
David Brinkley.
And David was a star reporter, and of course later he got fired. But he wouldn't be where he is today if he hadn't have got fired. He'd still be the star reporter, you know. But he and Ry Page didn't hit it off, and everybody loved David.
That was tragic when we lost him recently.
Yeah, he was a great writer, and most people, you know, knew him for television. But David wrote a lot of his things for television, and he, of course, has written several books, and my son, my youngest son, Jackie Thompson, gave me one for my birthday about 4 or 5 years ago, which I really appreciated.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because people always give you things you really don't use.
Right.
But that
I'm
was
sure
something.
you appreciate it so much more now that he's passed away.
Oh, yeah.
And it
I
really
do.
had an impact
Yes.
on you. Obviously, Hilda, a big focus about a year and a half ago was the state's highest recognition of a citizen, which Governor Hodges presented the Silver Crescent Award. Big, big deal. And, you know, he acknowledged so many of your contributions to South Carolina, but so many folks don't know about all your contributions, not only to South Carolina, but to North Carolina, as well as to the Southeast and really our nation. It's amazing. Can you tell us how you felt that day receiving the Silver Crescent Award?
I felt very proud and very excited, very shocked, because I didn't think that poor people got that award. I always said the rich people get all these big awards. And in fact, I told the governor at the time that he had changed my mind about it because he just presented the poorest woman in South Carolina. But as he said, money's not everything, and it certainly isn't. And I have found that out through the years. But that was an exciting thing to be rewarded for something that you enjoy doing, and I do.
Hilda, it's amazing. You've committed so much of your time and efforts. Alternatives and Coast News magazines have been a great conduit to get the word out about so many activities. Of course, you're intimately involved with the big cancer celebration in late September here locally. But now to see your activity and, of course, supporting the American Heart Association, thank you so much for that support. But right now you're so involved in this Shelley Glassbell Sheelard Ewing Sarcoma Fund and getting active with her mother. What about the mission to establish the fund and wrapping around? Of course, you came in after the fund was already established, but the mission there is really to get the word out and to build support groups?
Exactly, and to do most of the PR, like you say, to get the word out. And of course, this bracelet, the Shelley bracelet, when I put it on, I feel like she's up there taking care of me. And because everything I've read about her has been just undoubtedly wonderful. And her mother is one of the strongest women I know. To have a child and then to watch it die. I don't know of anything that could be any hurtful than that. Because I have children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. And I certainly, my heart goes out to her.
You have taken the time to go ahead and put this in print form, and you're writing currently.
It's
Coast
out
Alternatives
now.
is out.
Yeah,
Folks
it's
can
out.
pick it up. You have an article in there about the fund.
Oh, yeah. It tells about, well, actually, it tells Sandy's whole story about her daughter dying. And I think most people should read this because they have children and it could happen. I mean, to babies. This is what got me. And there's, you know, this is going to be in North Carolina. But see, I cover both Carolinas. But whether or not it was in Florida or wherever, I think I would still do what I'm doing. Because I hope that we can do something to bring other families help, not only financial, but with just being there for them.
Well, fortunately, right now here on the screen, we've got the phone number for Coast and Alternatives News Magazine, 843-444-5556,
Right.
so that people can call if they can't pick up in the PD or in southeastern North Carolina.
Right.
Much of our viewing area may not have immediate
That's
access to
true.
Coast and Alternatives News Magazine, but if they can call Bill Darby or Donna there at the office
we'll
and ask.
send the paper to them,
It's so important to get the word out, and you taking the time to put it in a print form is so important.
Yeah.
Your involvement with Shelley's family and friends has impacted your own outlook, Hilda. Obviously, you talked about that. Can you share with that a little more how it's impacted you?
Well, for one thing, I'm a cancer survivor myself. And to talk with Sandy, which I have spent a lot of hours on the telephone talking to her about the different things. And then, of course, she sent me, in her own words, about her position with her daughter. And I've just sort of learned about this through the telephone and actually the mail. So it has really impacted me to know that we've got to do something to find out what causes this. Bone cancer is one of the most painful cancers there is. And I know I went through a lot with my cancer, which was not bone cancer, but it was still bad. I lost my hair, and of course I lost weight. I was down to 81 pounds. And it's and not only that, but there were, back then they didn't have anything that you could go to get help. So you just had to rely on your family. But this way we want to make sure that everybody that has this cancer in their homes, that we're able to help them.
Well, I know we're so excited to think about 48 hours from now, they'll be teeing off at Highland Creek Golf Course for the big charity tournament. In a few hours, you'll be leaving to drive to Charlotte.
Right.
You're going to visit, I think, Blumenthal Cancer Center tomorrow. So much going on. This is additional research you'll be doing, even a further article. And real quick, Hilda, the piece that's in Coast and Alternatives right now is separate from your normal column.
Oh, yeah.
You have both your column in this issue as well as...
Well, I actually use this as my whole column, but it's much longer, and it will be continued on another page, which I haven't done before. This is the largest one that I've done, but a very rewarding one. It took me a while to get it together because I cried on the paper and wet it, and so I had to start over again. But I'm really looking forward to the golf tournament because I hope we're going to raise a lot of money, and hopefully that people that want to participate, and you can still do it in the golf tournament,
Right. You can still call in or go to the website. Hilda, we got about 30 seconds. I want to ask real quick, you've been involved in the Beach Boogie concert that will be held October 10th at the Shrine Temple there in Charlotte. Can you share with the viewers real quick a couple of the acts that will be performing that night? I think it's from 7 to midnight, $25 a person. Of course, folks can go to EwingsSarcomaFund.com to find out more. Who are a couple of the bands that will be performing that night?
We'll have Billy Scott and the Prophets, Chairman of the Board, and Band of Gold, and Boy Club and Babe, and that is a great little group, and Archie Bell, so plus others. So it's going to be a big, big show, and we hope everybody comes to that.
Absolutely. We're so thankful that you and Rose have come in today, and thanks for making the commitment to the Ewing Sarcoma Fund, Hilda.
Well, I thank you for letting us come.
Absolutely. Yeah. Stay tuned to Rose Rock coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome back to Carolina People. This morning, we're the Fox 43 studio. We're focused on the Shelley Glassbell Sheelard Ewing Sarcoma Fund, and we're visiting with Rose Rock, a radio talk show hostess for the Mom Show on Mix 97.7 Sunday nights from 6 to 8 p.m. Good morning, Rose.
Good morning.
I'm sure on your show you're not used to saying good morning. So
no, I'm not.
You're saying good evening? Good evening. That's right. How long have you been doing that show, Rose?
Well, this would be my 4th year.
great.
I had a little hiatus there, but I'm back. So this is 4 years that I've been
And it's always
here.
been called The Mom Show?
Always the Mom Show.
Wow. What's that like having a radio show?
It's great, and radio is good because you don't have to dress up. So I kind of like it. I really like it.
That must be exciting. It's always been titled The Mom Show.
Mm-hmm.
Has it always been on Sunday nights?
Always Sunday nights, but now we're doing it only 6 to 8. And when I started, I was doing 8 to 11.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So made a late night and it's live.
It is live.
Mm-hmm. And I'm glad we put up the number here because even this Sunday or upcoming Sundays, the 843-293-9797.
That's right.
You've got Mix 97.7 is a monster radio
It's a
station.
major station.
Spills almost up to the North Carolina line. I mean,
Yes.
up into Florence and up throughout Horry and Georgetown counties.
Right, we do cover quite a lot of ground. And I feel blessed just to be there, that they let me do the show, and it's my show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not the Rose Rock Show. It is the Mom Show.
The Mom
I
Show.
love it. I love
Yeah.
it. That's exciting. Well, thanks so much for coming in this morning. Where are you from originally, Rose?
I am originally from Andrews, little old town, South
yeah.
Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's in Georgetown County.
That's in Georgetown County.
You know, the bulk of our viewers are in the PD and in southeastern North Carolina. A little less than a third of our viewers are here in Horry County. So it's a lot of folks aren't familiar. I mean, surely North Carolinians aren't familiar with lots of parts of South Carolina, but
Right.
Andrews has really been an important part of the Low Country or this part of the state for a long time.
Right, and Andrews has turned out, Chubby Checkers, and now,
Mm-hmm.
my son and myself. So, yeah, it's a nice town.
And when you say your son, you've got 7 children, am I right, Rose?
I have 7 children. I have actually 10 children, 7 biological children.
But when you said Andrews also turned out my son, excuse me.
Because he was born there. I mean, he wasn't raised there, but he was born there.
Right, and for viewers who may not be familiar with your son, and that's one of, again, 10, you're talking about Chris Rock.
Chris Rock.
Yes, big name, big name. Well, excited to hear a little bit more about your children in a second. What prompted you to move away from Andrews early on, Rose?
Well, you have to understand that when I was growing up, the South was so much different. And there weren't the opportunities here that are here now.
Mm-hmm.
It was a totally different place to live.
Mm-hmm. Where'd you move to?
I moved to New York.
New York State or New York City?
New York City.
Oh, wow. That's a
Brooklyn,
little
New
different than
York.
Andrews.
Oh, it's a lot different. A lot different.
Wow. Well, why would you have ever? I mean, how long did you live up there, Rose?
33 years.
Is that right? Almost a lifetime for
Almost
a
a
lot of folks.
lifetime.
Yeah. And something prompted you to go ahead and move back to the Palmetto State.
Well, I lost my husband and my father within the same year, and so I came back. And when I came back, I didn't know if I would live here, but when I got back, and I really liked the things that I saw and the things it offered, and so I stayed. And also the weather.
Yes, that's right. A little different from the Big Apple. And you obviously raised almost your entire family in.
Oh, yes, I raised them in Brooklyn.
Wow, that's amazing. I was so excited that you and Allison got in this morning to think about having children around here in the Low Country and raising them in an entirely different environment.
But you raise them the same. You don't let the place change you. When I was raising my kids, I always said, I would never raise my children the way I was raised. Did the exact same thing my mother did.
Is that
exactly.
right? Do you miss your mom?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Every day.
Well, Rose, I can't imagine. My mother was in town this weekend, and just thinking about all that goes on. So home now is in Georgetown.
In Georgetown.
And you returned when?
In 93.
Okay, great. So 10 years back. Can you tell us how you got started as a radio talk show hostess?
Well, I wanted to get involved. I liked radio, and I wanted to get involved in something that helped children and families. And I had done several TV shows, and one of the questions they always would ask is, how did you raise your children? Well, why did they turn out so successful? And those type of things. And I thought, if we did a radio show where people could call in and where you could give advice and where you could have other people that of prominence or just anyone that could share light on different things to talk. And that's how it came about. We approached Wally B., He loved the idea, and the rest is history.
That's fantastic. What had you been doing prior to the program? Had you been working in another profession, or obviously raising 10 children?
Well, I'm also a teacher. I'm a special ed teacher, and when I came here, I worked several schools, and then I opened my own preschool, which is First Steps.
First Steps
Preschool in Georgetown.
Is that right? It's obviously still going?
Still going.
Strong? Great. Fantastic. And the original focus of the show, has it changed over the 4 years from what it is today? I know you said the time period changed from 8 to 11 to now 6 to 8.
Well, it has changed somewhat, but we still touch on, like last week, the show was about relationships and about proposals.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of fun to have people call in and tell us, how their husband proposed and that kind of thing. But we do a lot with children, how to discipline, peer pressure, that type of thing.
It changes on. What are your sources? Is this almost exclusively experience of your own?
It's a lot of experience, but I still read a lot. And I check the newspapers for different things that's going on and, touch on all of that.
Rose, how did you hear about the Shelley Glaspell-Sheilard Ewing Sarcoma Fund?
Chuck Dolby gave me a call, and he, explained what was going on and asked me would I get involved. And I was touched by the story. And I said, okay, whatever I can do.
You must be involved in a lot of charities, though, Rose. How do you find time?
This year I'm not doing as much because I had heart surgery a year ago. And so now I kind of limit myself to things that really interest me. And one of the things that interests me with this is this cancer strikes children. And first and foremost, I'm a mother and I'm a grandmother. Then when I read the story from her mother, I think it was Charlotte's Women, then I knew that I wanted to do whatever I could do.
And your primary activities, Chuck called you, I think Chuck was in on Monday, and he talked about getting involved in March or April. So you've really been involved just the last few months, but have already made a big impact.
Just the last few months. He gave me one call, and he said, I knew you would do it.
Wow, Rose. Well, we've got about 5 minutes, so that gives us an opportunity to focus on, of course, there's the big golf tournament in about 48 hours.
Right.
Kicks off there at Highland Creek Golf Course. And in October, there's a big event, the Beach Boogie concert, October 10th, I think.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. And I also serve on the board of directors for beach music. So I'm very involved with that also.
That's the Beach Music Association International. How exciting, Rose. Golly, again, how do you find the time? You think about starting First Steps, getting that going, having your own weekly live call-in show, the activities going on therein. I think did you say earlier this morning that you were on the cardiac board at MUSC?
Yes, for MUSC.
For BMAI, and how do you do it all? Are you able to spend any time with your children or grandchildren?
Well, I kind of limit. Like I say, I limit, but I do the things that interest me. And it doesn't take a lot of time to give back. It just takes a willingness to do it. I mean, the time that you would sit watching a TV show, you can spend an hour, doing something that really reaches a lot of people. So it's all about giving back. I have been so blessed in this life. And I feel honored that I can do something for someone else.
It's all about giving back. That's wonderful. That would be a good way to wrap, but we've got a couple of minutes. Let's talk a little bit about your family. Where are your 10 children now?
My children, okay. Chris is obviously, he's the busy one with the movies and whatnot. Chris now lives in New Jersey. My second son, Andre, he is a businessman. He taught for a while. Now he runs a trucking business that's named after his father, Julius Rock Trucking.
Wow.
And he has 3 beautiful sons and a new son that's about 2 weeks old. And he married his childhood sweetheart, his college sweetheart. Yeah. My third son is Tony, and he now is a talk show host on O. Every night he hosts, let me get it right, Can You Tell? Oh, if I said that wrong, he'd kill me. Can You Tell on the Oxygen channel. And on August 11th, he starts filming a sitcom all about us for UPN.
Is that right?
So I got to get this straight. Then my fourth son, Brian, he is a minister, but he is also a sound person. He worked on the Chris Rock show for HBO for 5 years. He now lives in Atlanta. Okay, that's Brian. After Brian,
You had 4 sons. Where are the girls?
I'm going down the line now. Brian. Oh, Kenny. Oh, my God, he's going to kill me. Kenny is my starving actor, but he works in New York. He lives in New York, and he's an actor, works for Scholastics, and he's doing well. And then my daughter, my first-born daughter, is Andy. She's a freshman at Winthrop, plans to be the next Oprah.
Oh, wow. That's a big plan.
Yeah. And
Good
she's serious about it.
Uh-huh.
And Allison, who's here with me, she's a professor at Grove City University in Grove City, Pennsylvania. And another daughter that I raised, she lives in Bermuda, St. David's Island, Bermuda, and she's a school psychologist. My stepson works at Bellevue Hospital. And then we have a 13-year-old, Jordan, who's the baby of the whole gang, who plans to get into show business also. And he's in middle school.
That is amazing,
Yeah,
Rose. Hey, just that you remembered 10 children is a big enough deal.
I didn't believe I could do it.
You know, you think, I've got 10 friends out there. You've got 10. I mean, you've obviously got 10 friends, 10 amazing children.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
And I count down.
Yeah.
Say, okay, the 4th one, the 3rd one.
We've got less than a minute, Rose. What do you hope to be able to accomplish with your involvement in the Shelley Glassell-Sheeler Ewing Sarcoma Fund?
You know, I wasn't sure why I did it, but after I got involved, if just the name and the fact that maybe I could pull my son or some other people that I know into fundraising or just giving something toward this disease, that's what I hope to accomplish. That someone will see me and say, well, if she can do it, I can get involved. You know, sometimes that's all it takes.
That word give has gone throughout as you've sat here for 12 minutes listening to Rose talk. The word give, giving back, giving to a community, making a difference. And it's truly there. Tune into the Mom Show, Sunday night, 6 to 8 p.m. on Mix 97.7. Rose, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
It's been my pleasure.
Thank you. Stay tuned to more Carolina People coming up next. We want to thank Hilda Merritt Carter and Rose Rock for giving so much of their time, so much of their lives for making the world a better place.